Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mia Boostrom,
And I'm Jillian Jensen.
and welcome to
Exit Interview. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, which is just Exit Interview Podcast.
Yeah, and you can also check us out on almost every streaming site, Spotify, Anchor FM, and many, many more. So keep on listening.
Today we have Britton.
Britton Buchanan from season 14 of The Voice.
Yes.
My dear friend.
And what a well-spoken, mature young gentleman we had on the show.
I know. We just kept talking about after the interview just how well-spoken he was and how, I don't know, well-versed he is as well.
He has so many years, like you were saying in the interview, like so many years under his belt.
Yeah.
That, he's 21, but he feels like he's like 55.
I feel like he's 55. Like, I don't think that I've had life experiences that could make me write and communicate the way that he does.
Yeah. Well, I really hope you enjoy hearing about him, hearing his stories, hearing his love for
Music.
Reed.
Oh, God.
Hearing his
Love for Reed. I'm stat.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this episode of
Exit Interview. All right, everybody. Hey, my name is Mia.
And I am Jillian Jensen.
And welcome to Exit Interview. Today, we have Britton Buchanan from season 14 of The Voice, my peer, alumni voice person. I'm so excited to have you on the show with us today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Absolutely. I was so excited when you said that you would do this with us.
Oh, how could I not?
He's like, oh, how could I ever say no?
For those of you who don't know, Britton was the runner-up on season 14. You were on Alicia's team the whole time, right?
The whole time.
I love her.
She was
Me
like
too.
the mother hen. She was like Britton,
yeah.
Britton the whole time.
She's great.
What was your experience like working with her, honestly?
Oh, well, she's phenomenal, and she's everything that you would anticipate her being, and even more. She's like a philosopher. She's like some old Greek, like Socrates and Aristotle and Alicia Keys. It's like I feel like that's the list. And she was great on the show, and we continued to work together afterwards, and we continued to stay in touch. And she's just phenomenal. After the show, we worked together even more than we did on the show. So she's phenomenal.
That is awesome.
Did you get to meet her brother at all?
Cole?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Cole. Cole's great.
Cole's a sweetie pie.
Do you know him?
Well, the Varsity Girls we were in New York for something, and then Alicia's family had us on the boat. I never got to meet Alicia, which was the one dream I had in life. But don't tell Cole that. I love him. Don't tell him that was my only dream. God, I look like such an ass. But yeah, no, he was so cool. He was very, very down to earth.
That is so cool. When you had auditioned, was Alicia your initial first choice, or was it somebody else? Were you more leaning towards being with Kelly or Adam or?
Yeah, I think that initially going into it, I was like, oh well, if Adam turns around, because at the time the perception I had of myself as an artist was more in line with the things that he likes to listen to. And so I was like, well, I guess if he turns around, that would seem the most logical choice. He was blocked, so I couldn't pick him if I wanted to. But Alicia is a great salesperson and can...
Do you feel like she was able to kind of pull different things out from you? Because one of my biggest things that Adam was the only one that turned for me. And I felt like the same as you, as I felt like my music kind of aligned really well with Adam's. And I almost felt like we didn't have much to kind of work toward because we were both inspired by very similar things.
Right.
Do you think because you and Alicia kind of had different, inspirations that it almost brought more creativity out from you?
Yeah, but the greatest thing that she did for me was she just said, well, whatever you want to sing, sing. And never once picked any of my songs. I felt like I was one of the only people that whole season that the battle song was Thinking Out Loud, which was picked because it's a duet.
Right.
And then the fan week, I sang Perfect, another Ed Sheeran song, which was picked by the fans for Fan Week, but every other week I picked my own songs.
That's
and
amazing.
That trust that she had in me to do, like, What's Love Got to Do with It by Tina Turner, let's just try this week, or let's do Good Lovin', which had never been on the show before, or whatever.
Right.
That kind of trust was like, that meant the world to me, and that made the experience a lot more enjoyable than, ending the results show on Tuesday night and then finding out what your song is an hour later for the rehearsal the next morning. It was a lot more enjoyable to just say, this is what I'd like to do. Can we do this?
I think that's one of our biggest regrets too, being on the shows, is not having a voice enough to say, like, no, this is something that I want to do. Because I mean, if I went back and I got to redo, certain songs on the show, I totally would. Like, I wouldn't even let them do that Chris Stapleton song with laryngitis, because I couldn't do it, and like, that kind of stuff.
I'm trying to even think of like what songs I picked on either situation.
Yeah.
Like, I think I think Idol was a little more lenient as far as like choices, but even then, like, you had to pick within like a certain, like, what was approved by the show. Like the artists or songs that were already pre-approved or written off on for copyright, infringement. So it made it feel limited, even when you had options, you didn't have options.
Was your blind something that you kind of had to say over too, or was that more of like, because for me, I didn't even know the song that I was auditioning with.
Wow.
Yeah. Was that something similar? I mean, obviously
it was
amazing, but
Trouble was a song that I included on a list that they asked for from everybody. I believe they probably asked you for it too, of like songs like what you would want to sing, or like songs that you would want to sing in general on your journey on the show, whatever. And like, there's like 3 or 4 songs that you picked. This is at the very, very beginning. And Trouble was one of the ones that I picked, just to be like, oh, well, even if it's the finale song, I would still sing it for the finale. This is just songs I'd like to do at some point. And they picked it from that list immediately. And then I did none of the other songs. So yeah, I guess I did have a say in it, but it was just by coincidence that it ended up being.
That's really awesome. Mine was different. So when I had sent in a list, they gave me a list of 100 songs, and I had to rank them from 1 to 20.
I remember that.
One being the one that I would want to sing the most, which was Angel from Montgomery, which I was
great song.
Just praying that I would be able to do. And then I don't even remember the rest, but I know that Because of You was on that list, and it ended up being my battle song.
Oh, so you got one too.
I did.
We're even.
Got one.
But another thing that I loved from your journey was, I love that you were the only person that sang an original song written by you.
That is true. And it went #1 on iTunes.
Well, because it's so good. You want to know one of my secrets here is that song was my ringtone on my phone, I think, until this day.
That's amazing.
No, it was my alarm at one point, because the beginning was so like peaceful to wake up to, and I was like, I freaking love this song. And so it would be my ringtone and my alarm for a year after that song came out.
That's so sweet.
For real.
That's amazing.
For real.
That's amazing. Now, that was a song that happened just because I was like, well, I want to do it. They had played me this Aloe Black song, and they had played me another song, because they send in a ton of stuff. Like, they have writers that just send in so much stuff to play at the end of the, for people at the end of the show. And I was like, no, I would rather do a song that I wrote. I've been writing songs since I was like 12. I'd rather do a song that I wrote. I know they're good. And Alicia was like, well, then you're going to do a song that you wrote. What songs? Make a Dropbox folder of whatever you would want to play, and let's listen to it. And that was the first song in the Dropbox folder. And it was me and her and Clyde, I think his name was Clyde, in her trailer in the artist soundstage. And we just listened to it, and we got through the chorus, and she was like, all right, that's the song you're gonna do. And then that was it. And then she like bought studio time at the record plant just so like she could be a part of the process of recording that song, and was like, it was like a 6-hour recording session one night, and she showed up, and I had my guitar with me, but my noiseless pickups were interfering with some kind of frequency, so I always ended up playing like guitars that they had there, because there were so many, and anything that you wanted they would either rent or they would, they had. And so I was like, I'm gonna play all the guitars I've ever wanted to play. Yeah, I was like, I want to play ES3 35 this week. And then What's Love Got to Do with It showed up with, and they were like, oh, this is a 1962 ES335 for you to play. And I was like, this is great. I'm just going to keep telling them I want to play these different guitars. And so I showed up, and there was a guitar there for me. It was a 1969 all original Fender Telecaster, and I played it the whole session. And then the session ended, and she like walked into the room, and she was like, oh, that's yours now.
Wait, she bought you the guitar?
She bought me the guitar. Hold on, look.
What the fuck? Alicia's a queen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going back on the show only when Alicia's
She'd be
there.
on Alicia's team. That's it. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, she bought me this and just gave it to me.
Oh my god.
It's like an all original 69. It's gorgeous.
Holy smokes.
And it's like in pristine condition to be 52 years old.
Damn.
That's incredible.
Isn't that so sweet?
That is so sweet.
Yeah, and then we recorded that song in the record plant, and she was always there. And Paul, who I love, Paul Merkovich,
awesome,
the music director, was a big part in helping me arrange the song because I had never played it with a band. And the oh, 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 oh post-chorus section, it was all Paul's idea. I was like, oh, that's great, Paul.
It sounds so good.
Let's do that. And so, yeah, that song was special because it was the first song to go #1 that season. And it was one that I had written, and I was the only one that had written one of those songs. So that was a special night.
That's a humongous moment. You should be so proud of yourself for that because,
Thank you.
think about it. Just how many artists try to put their own original stuff out there and then for it to chart #1. I mean,
yeah, it was a shocker.
That's amazing.
It's about heroin as well. So I was like, oh, well, I've never done heroin, but it's about heroin. It's about a heroin overdose. And so the fact that it just went #1 on iTunes, I was like, you know what? People love drugs.
See, I didn't know that it was about that. I mean, I thought it was a love song about someone that you can't, get enough of, or like you want
right.
in your life forever. And I mean, it kind of makes sense for people that have drug addictions,
so many different interpretations. That's been the special thing about it, was like some people thought it was like a song based in faith and like a religious song, and some people are like, it's overcoming your problems, and then there's I love your interpretation of it. And so I don't think I've ever properly said, oh, it's about like dying from a heroin overdose before, because I just was like, oh, I'll let people decide what it's about. But that's what I wrote it about, and it's just taken on these meanings for different people, which is special because when you're on a show like The Voice, you never think, oh, by the end of it I'm going to put out this song that people can like theorize what it means and it can help people and do all this.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think that's like the most special thing about writing music, though. We had DJ Johnson on last week, and we were talking about songwriting and like me kind of like being like a mama bear pushing her to keep writing. But like what I love about writing is writing something that's so deeply personal to me, but leaving it vague enough that anyone can see it however they so choose. So like,
right.
So I really like that, and I wouldn't have gotten that based off what I was hearing. Obviously, like I would.
Right.
She showed me the song, and I was like, "Oh, it's gorgeous."
Well, no, that's such a great point. Is just like the guy that I co-write most of my stuff with now and produces all of my stuff, Derek Furman, who his claim to fame is he wrote "Gone, Gone, Gone" for Philip Phillips and has done a lot of. Did a lot of Phillips stuff and works with the Goo Goo Dolls and all that stuff. And we just fell in love with each other and started working together. We put out this song in October about my love of horror movies. I've always loved horror movies deeply since I was a kid. Like all of these things are all there's a lot of them over there. And then like my wall here is just covered with like autographs from all of my friends in the industry. And we wanted to just write a song, like a Halloween song. We wrote this song called October's Queen about a girl who like finds solace in like she doesn't fit in, but she goes home at night and she can like watch all these movies with all these badass women, because women always in horror movies, there's always the final girl. It's always about the girl at the end that doesn't get killed that can take down the monsters. So I've always thought it was a very empowering thing. And there's badass women. And so we wrote a song about, a young girl watching these badass women and like being like, oh, that's me. That's going to be me one day. And he made the point of like, if you can take something like that that's so personal and make it universal, then people are going to respond to it because it's going to mean a bunch of different things to different people. Like October's Queen is going to mean 10 different things to 8 different people. And so that's what I love about songwriting too.
Oh my gosh. You just say it so well. Like, Britton, how old are you now?
I'm 21 now.
Oh! Oh, next time I see you, we're gonna get a drink.
We're gonna get a drink.